Hi, this is the second of an ongoing series of brief summaries I'm making on the official Gazette for patents published at the USPTO. The information in the video podcast is a compilation from the September 24, 2013, volume 1394, number 4, official Gazette. This short video is not intended to discuss every detail or be comprehensive. No guarantee for accuracy is being given. If I make an error or leave out information that should have been included, please let me know. Please read the official Gazette for Patents at the United States Patent Office for comprehensive information. Let's start off with the top 10 states with most active applicants receiving patents this week. Pennsylvania dropped to 10th with 77 patents. Ohio entered this week at 9th with 81 patents. Illinois dropped to 8th with 93 patents. Michigan dropped to 7th having 95 patents. Minnesota was neck and neck at 96 patents, rising from 8th last week. Washington and Massachusetts, 5th and 4th respectively, traded places this week with 104 and 105 patents. Texas dropped to 3rd with 159 patents. New York rose to 2nd with 172 patents. Once again, California was far and away first with 695 patents. Congratulations to applicants in Alaska who received 2 patents. 2,505 patents were received by U.S. applicants this week. Foreign applicants received 2,456 patents this week. Sweden entered the top 10 for the most active countries for U.S. patents, receiving 55 patents. Israel and France remained 9th and 8th at 61 and 94 patents respectively. China dropped to 7th at 108 patents. The UK rose to 6th with 117 patents. Canada at 133 patents was 5th. Taiwan dropped to 4th, receiving 163 patents. South Korea was 3rd, receiving 232 patents. Germany remained 2nd, receiving 262 patents. Japan stayed in the number 1 position, receiving 817 patents. 4 of the top 10 nations this week were from Asia, receiving 54% of the patents from foreign countries. 4 of the top 10 were from Europe, but received only 21% of these patents. Remember that patentable inventions apply to a great deal of subjects. Keep that in mind when you think you have an invention. For example, US 8539628 is a new patent this week received on an infant mattress, as received by Lee et al. From California. We've heard of children dying when sleeping in a crib. These inventors have patented a new mattress. Of course, mattresses have been around a long time, and so have infant mattresses. However, most improvements that are novel can be patented. You couldn't patent an infant mattress on its own, but an improvement that can be incorporated into a mattress that is novel can be patented. So don't give up on your own inventions because something has some similarities. Think about the totality of your invention. If yours has some uniqueness in combination with all its individual parts working together, that is as a whole, then you may have a patentable invention. Maintenance fees are payable for the 3.5-year maintenance fee for utility patents numbered 7793359 through 7797757. The 7.5-year maintenance for utility patents numbered 7103916 through 7107620, and the 11.5-year maintenance for utility patents numbered 6446264 through 6449768. 9 reissue applications were filed. Reissue applications are filed so that errors can be corrected in the patent. Broadening reissues may be provided within 2 years of the original patent. You might be interested in U.S. Patent 6076062 with reissue number 13/940,404, titled Method and Device for Transferring and Decoding a Non-PCM Bit Stream Between a Digital Video Disc and a Multi-Channel Reproduction Apparatus, if you're interested in audio. US 7174596 is titled Toothbrush and Process for Producing Such a Toothbrush. 7 ex parte re-examinations were filed. Patents can be challenged with ex parte re-exams. The challenger can remain anonymous. Notably, re-exams have been filed for 2 patents from Apple, US 7663607 titled Multi-Point Touchscreen and US 7920129 titled Double-Sided Touch-Sensitive Panel with Shield and Drive Combined Layer. 637 CFR 1.47 petitions for accepting applications where not all of the inventors signed were granted. 28 people registered to practice. Several corrections from previous gazettes were noted, where several non-existent patents were indicated. Average times for USPTO first response on patents depends on technology. Very roughly, organic and biotechnology applications received first actions about 1.5 years after filing. Engineering, chemical, design patents received a first response about 2 years after filing. Software patents received theirs about 2 years after filing. And that ends this edition of my report on the Official Gazette for Patents. See you next week.